Alright. Here we have Joe. Would you like me to say your last name?
Oh, sure. Why not?
Here we have Joe Adams.
Yeah.
Alright. So, this is, today we're gonna, this is another RPG interview. We're going to be asking questions about the role-playing game Skyrealms of Jorune. Alright. What is the Skyrealms of Jorune tabletop RPG?
It is where people get together. They play with paper, pencil, dice, hopefully have some really bad jokes and some snacks, and have a really good time creating a story that didn't exist before they all sat down together. And Jorune is just the specific flavor of the game that we play.
Alright. Alright, let me continue. When did you first get into Jorune?
1992. I was doing radio drama, and I had done all this preparation for a science fiction series we were doing called Free Space. And this guy saw my preparation for Free Space, and he said, "Oh, do you know role-playing games?" And I said, "No." A friend had mentioned it to me years before, and I had bought Traveler, the original Traveler. And every time I tried to generate a character, the character died. Part of the original Traveler system was dies. And my characters kept dying, so I couldn't even generate a character, and I didn't have anyone to show me how to do it. So I gave up. And he said, "You want to learn?" I said, "Sure." So he put a notice up at the local game store, and we put together a group, and I met a couple of people that became friends for a very long time. I'm still friends with them. And I started playing. And Jorune was one of the first games I bought at a game store. I went to Gamescape in San Francisco. They had the used game stuff, and there was that gorgeous box set for second edition. And it had all the books in it. In one box for like $8, I got everything. And I was happy. And then I was told third edition was coming out, and I was delirious. And third edition came out and pissed me off. And I found out later it wasn't because the third edition editor was not good. It's because the publisher didn't understand what it was to get a book ready for press. And as a result, they put it out before it was ready. And that really, the guy who edited it was named David Ackerman. He deserves credit. He did a great job of trying to pull together the first two editions. But he wasn't given the authority to hold it until it was edited. And it came out with mistakes like crazy. So he took a lot of heat, and it wasn't really him. It was the publisher.
Alright. Yeah. Why do you think Jorune didn't stay popular and isn't popular today?
A fight inside the family, and the fact that the publisher put out really bad material. They made a mistake in this last commercial book called Gyre of Silipus. And I did a lot of the resource and the maps for it. And they actually published a map that did not have the names of any of the streets. The publisher had fired an editor. The new editor came in and pulled an old version of the map that she published that said the name of the street is street name. So if you look at the map, you can't find your way anywhere because every street is called street name instead of the names we gave them. It was an old map, and they published it. And I made the corrected map available online, but it was a little late for that. So there were no more products, and the last product was a very weak offering. It was an okay adventure, and I developed the Silipus and Kithak and those areas for the geography. But it just really didn't have the support, except with fans. Fans all over the world. In England, they published a thing called Sarkane's Knowledge. In Sweden, they had a guy named Shalari James. I published a lot of stuff in America. In Scotland, there was a guy publishing Borkelby's Folly. And on the internet, when I had given up doing stuff, this woman came up and she did 4 issues of another zine called Danstead Traveler. And she's a trucker. She was driving all over the country and posting her Jorune stuff. So then I got back into it, and I've done some with what I call Return to Jorune. And I'm about to wrap that up because I've spent 25 years trying to get it in the public eye, and it has not worked. So it's called Take a Hint. So I need to take a hint.
Alright. You have anything you want to say before we have this last question?
Try it before you decide if you'd like it or not. Give it a try. It's a different flavor from the other science fiction or fantasy games I've seen or played. And the best thing about Jorune is you can make it your own. You do something, you claim a territory. Suddenly, I had people that just claimed Herodoth, and they developed the nation of Herodoth. And I had other people that claimed Lake Dowday. And Lake Dowday, they created the Kodras, and they developed that. And, just you could make a place of your own. It's called Dreamtime. You go to this other place where things are the way you want them, and people act the way you've decided they would behave. And you develop it, and you start seeing the streets, and you start making friends on the other world. So why not try it?
All right. Wrapping up here. What makes Jorune special in your opinion, and why would people want to play it?
Like I said, it's a very different flavor. And anytime you have a science fiction game that has aliens, it's a fantasy. That takes away the science of it. It's a fantasy. But if it's a fantasy, it can be fun. Star Trek's fun. It's filled with aliens. It's a bunch of fantasy. But it's still fun, and you can do good stories with it and enjoy it. Star Wars, same thing, fantasy. But it's really good fantasy. So make it your own and have some fun. If you don't have the need for fun, if everything in your life is going really good, it's really nice to have a place you can go in your head and be happy. That's it.
All right. Well, I guess we'll end it here now.